Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, and today we are joined by Dr. G. Rex Kruhly. Dr. G is the founder of Depth Healing Technology and has been studying and training in his multidiscipline crafts of health, quantum science, personal development, the areas of awakening, business success and goal achievement, psychology, stress, athletic performance, and martial prowess. Consciousness and brain research, classical Japanese sword Zen, Aikido, oneness, and Diksha energy psychologies, brain reprogramming, military science, quantum biology, ecosystems, and spiritual mystical experiences. And he's been doing all of this for over 51 years. His depth healing process uses cutting-edge quantum physics to help individuals remove cognitive dissonance from their subconscious minds. There's more I could say about Dr. G, but without further ado, welcome.
Thank you very much, honey. I'm really happy to be here.
You have covered so much in your lifetime, and I'm really happy that it's all culminating now in depth healing. And we'll talk more about what that is in a moment. I just want to pick a few things out of what I've just read out from your bio. Cognitive dissonance. Now, it's something I know what it is, but the listeners probably don't. Can you explain that?
Yeah, it's just the way we're designed, folks. The subconscious mind has all the power, and the frontal cortex, or the thinking, educated brain, has very little. So the ratio is 1 to 1 million. So the subconscious mind has the 1 million, and the conscious brain only has the 1. The subconscious runs 95% minimum of your entire day, everything you do. And the conscious brain, maximum, it's only operating 5% of the day. So with a ratio like that, what happens is you go to school or you go to some big seminar and you get all fired up and you've got everything all planned out and it's all brilliant. And you get started and it all crashes. And you do it again, you go to another seminar, you get fired up. Thousands and thousands of people do that all day, every day, all over the world. Why do they always crash and burn? They don't always. Some people do have success, but the ones that crash and burn have cognitive dissonance. And all it means is their educated brain wants to go right, and there's a program or an imprint in the subconscious that says you can't go right. You got to go left. And irregardless of how many affirmations or whatever they want to do, they will never go to the right until the cognitive dissonance is removed. And that's what my primary specialty. I remove cognitive dissonance completely. Then with the subconscious mind endorsing your ideas, what you want to do, you just go at full power. No problem at all. Does that answer your question?
It does. Now, I talk a lot about the triune brain. So the reptilian brain, scanning everything for safety, making sure that we're safe. And then the limbic brain with our emotions and our thoughts and our feelings. And often that can be affected by things like mold toxicity or, things that have happened in our childhood. And so am I right in thinking that 5% is your logical brain, the frontal cortex, that takes the information from the reptilian and a limbic and then makes a hypothesis for you to live by? Is that correct?
Almost. Once you turn 7, okay, then frontal cortex kicks in and you start to be able to think. The whole trick with the thinking or anything at all The subconscious mind is recording at a rate of 40 million bits of information per second, 24/7. So, and that starts way, in my model, right after conception. So by the time you turn 7 and the frontal cortex activates and you shift into a theta brainwave pattern, you have approximately 10 quadrillion bits of information in there, and that's all your software. Whether you want to put it in the like the model you have, wherever it is, that's fine. It's just that it's the software, and then as you're thinking, as you're experiencing, you're learning, you're going through the socialization process, everything is referenced through the subconscious software. And since none of that software belongs to us, it's mom and dad and the environment and everything else, cognitive dissonance is almost guaranteed, because the subconscious mind goes backward in time, frontal cortex goes forward in time. The frontal cortex is so weak, it only processes 40 bits of information per second. That's 40 bits of information per second. Once you turn 7, everything you read, hear, talk about, study, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why I call it the educated brain.
Dr. G, I ask all of my guests the same 3 questions and everyone gives me different answers. So here's your first one. What can your expertise do to accelerate health, not just physical, but also emotional and spiritual health?
Depth healing technology is a combination of cutting-edge quantum science with mystic connections. I have special spiritual connections through Tibet and India. So I'm a different kind of a ball game. Depth healing is designed such that what takes, say, meditation systems or months to years to do, I can do in a couple of hours. So with depth healing, I'm able to transform lives, health, relationships, businesses. It doesn't matter what it is, because I go directly into the field that is creating whatever we're talking about. So let's say a person has a broken heart, I remove the broken heart and situation is healed. If they can't make money, I remove the blocks, I go through their field, find out why, and we remove it, and then they make money. If they have chronic diseases, I locate the diseases and we disintegrate them. And I have complete clinical success with all of these things. I do it all day, every day. It just depends. Like sometimes you'll have a client and they have a very, very complex case. So they need to see me for a while because we've got to disassemble a great many things. But eventually, I'm the living example of what I do. You know, I might have wear a whole lot of hats, but I never could make a dime for over almost 30 years. And financial success never was there. And that created in me enormous frustration and anger, enough to break my back in half when I was 27. And then I developed breast cancer. I never could understand any of it until I found out what cognitive dissonance was. And I met a great master, Dr. Larry Habersky, who could clear that for me. So I apprenticed under Larry for 8 years. And that's where I was already a doctor. And I apprenticed under him for 8 years. And I learned the basis of this science. And then the divine is the one that made me into a distance healer. So my clients, I'm in Thailand. My clients are dotted anywhere in the world. And all I need is to see their face and talk to them. And I can take care of everything directly from here through the quantum field. Touching or being in physical presence is not necessary at all. So basically speaking, if you want to accelerate your life, or I'm a life engineer, that also goes for corporate level. Like if I have an entire organization of many thousands of people, I'm able with morphic field physics to transform the entire group at one time. So that has to do with morphic fields in the cloud. It's similar to when you think of the Google Cloud and all of the laptops are tied into the cloud. Think of the computers as the people, the software of the computer as the subconscious, and the Google Cloud as their collective morphic field, I'm able, with groups, I operate in the cloud. And then it's a feed forward, feed backward, we call it torus. It's a feed forward, feed backward system. And so I operate in the cloud relative to specific questions. And then it feeds down to each of the individual computers, the people. So the basic answer I have for that is you get a hold of me and I'll take care of it for you.
Great. And we also talk about wealth here. Many people think wealth is just the financial, but it can also be personal and emotional wealth. So what would be your top 3 tips to creating wealth?
So first and foremost, wealth consciousness is the first thing to do, folks. And what does that mean? Irregardless of whatever relative level of wealth or abundance you have right now, let's say you have nothing, let's say you're homeless, but you have whatever you sleep on, and you have a couple of little this, little of this, little of that, whatever you have, you put all of your attention and your conscious awareness on what you actually do have, on what actually is working, on people that do know you. Everything, the only thing you're going to allow yourself to have awareness of is what you do have, and then to feel very grateful you have it, that it's there. That's number one, is you put your attention, because when you look at the world, you can look at the world like I'm trained, I'm a martial specialist. It's my first profession. So what do martial people or police officers and people like that, what are they looking for? They look for where there's danger. So their consciousness, when they're looking out on the road, they don't notice the beautiful blue sky. What they're looking for is like possible predators or possible problems here or there. That's called the reticular activating system in the brain. It's going to look for what you're focused on. So you make a decision to look for all the little things, big and small, that you do have. Like the blue sky is always free to everybody. The sunshine, the mornings, the beautiful evenings, the sunsets, the wind, the air, the flowers, that's all free. And then you have whatever kind of food you might have, that's wealth consciousness. What is the relevance? There's 2 things that run the universe as far as humans go: the law of perception and the law of resonance. Perception is, what you're focused on and how you are focused on it. So a farmer perceives a big farmer's field full of wet cow manure as absolutely wonderful. And the Manhattan businessman with $600 shoes considers it disgusting and all covered in flies. And they have different perception sets. The perception gives you the vibration. The vibration gives you your world, your life. So what controls your perception? Your subconscious mind. What controls the vibration? The perception. So when you're noticing what you have and what's there, and you're grateful for it, your frequency is high. That activates the motivation centers in your brain. Everything is good. That ties into your health, for epigenetics, for everything. Because you have a high vibration, by resonance, the universe will bring you more. Number 2, that goes with this, we have to really look at our language. I used to say for 20 years, I'd want something and I'd say, well, I can't afford that. I can't afford that right now. And always remember that the universe only says this to you 24/7. Only thing the universe is ever going to say to you is, okay. That's all it says. Okay. No judgment, no nothing, just okay. So I used to say, I can't afford that. The universe says, okay. So I never could afford it. So the trick with wording is, let's say you open up the fridge and you're all out of milk or eggs or something. be very careful in the wording and in the thinking. Watch out for words like, I don't have any eggs, or I'm all out, I'm all out, I don't have any. Rather than say something like that, you say, oh, I'm going to go get eggs. I need to go get eggs. I need to go buy a case of beer. I need to go. So what are you doing? Number one, the wording says it empowers you because it implies that you can get it. So you are abundant and you have the money to do it. Another way to do when, let's say you want something, but right now there's not enough money really to buy it. So you talk to yourself like this: I could buy that. Let's say you could get it with credit or something. I could buy that, but I choose not to right now. Again, the wording is empowering you. It's implying you have the ability, and it's also saying that you're choosing not to right now. You got to really pay a close attention to it. When you want to manifest something, Eckhart Tolle says it the simplest of all when he quotes the Bible. You have to state it that you have it now. Because if it's something that's going to happen, or you're going to receive it, or you can't wait to get it, it's in the future. And remember, the universe says, okay. So it's like a carrot in front of you. You never get there. The more you chase it, it's dangling, it's attached on a stick and it's hanging in front of you. You think you're going to reach it, but you never do. So you have to think or feel or use wording that makes things right now. Even let's say you want a new car. You don't have the car yet, but you say, I'm so grateful for my beautiful new car. And you describe it and you imagine it, feeling it. That is true, because that's the resonance. That is the resonance part. Without resonance, it doesn't matter what you do. The only thing that will come to you is what you're resonant with, period, end of story. So the first thing I'm saying is the awareness and what you focus on. Number two is the languaging, because the languaging shows you what your questions are. Languaging shows you your values, and languaging directs consciousness in a particular way. And then the other little trick that I have, because I did everything I'm describing to you, I did myself. Because I used to be as poor as a church mouse, despite my skill levels when it came to money. Because see, my dad was born from Polish immigrants that came over from Europe during the Great Depression. My dad was an electrician. We always had money, but he had pure lack consciousness. Even though we had a nice big home, and the only thing Pop ever knew was lack. And I inherited that in my subconscious. And then when I became 18 and started to study professional Aikido under Kushida, we were just young boys, and we worshipped him. And we put him on such a high pedestal. He used to tell us as samurai, think of money as dirt. Only women handle money. Samurai never touch money. It's beneath their dignity. Well, I internalized all that garbage. For many, many years, nearly a decade, I was with him. And because I'm an emotional man, anytime you imprint or learn things with a lot of emotion, you imprint it very strongly into the subconscious. So my subconscious, till the age of 27, was absolutely hammered with cognitive dissonance against money. Just unbelievable. That's why it took me 8 years to undo it all with Dr. Albersky. One of the little tricks that I do every day myself now, and I'm recommending it for you, is when the first thing in the morning, go to your wallet or your purse, and I don't care if it's just $1 or the amount of money it would cost you to, say, get a Starbucks coffee. Any amount, that's up to you, what you would normally automatically spend on any given day, just in doing whatever you do. and you take it out of the wallet and you tuck it away every single day. What are you doing? Number one, that type of wealth attracts more wealth. It's a frequency and it's a state of consciousness. Number two, every single morning, you're starting off your morning by accumulating more wealth. That little bit, you tuck it away. You come back and after a few months, and it'll astound you how much money is there. Blow your mind how much money. If I had known this when I was a young buck, I'd easily be a millionaire now, easily. But I never had enough intelligence to do that. I used to just spend the money. Whatever I want, I just would spend I had no discipline. But anyway, I always tuck away in one of the little pockets in my wallet a good sum of money. Because that way in the back of my mind, I always know I always have money. And that keeps my frequency up, my vibration up. And with that kind of consciousness, I'm always looking for and noticing abundance everywhere. If you do those three things, I think you will quickly swing your life around. It'll blow your mind. You just have to really pay attention. What am I noticing? Like when it comes to other forms of wealth, number one on the charts is your body temple. If you don't feel well, or if you're sick, or if you're hurt, and I've been crippled, I broke my back in half when I was 27. I healed everything without medical intervention, but you still go through the suffering. And I know what suffering means. And so one of the greatest wealths of wealth is to feel good and to have energy. And then life is relationships, eh? The way to get relationships, it has to come from us out. So it's always from you, you call your friend. Don't think, oh, they never call me. Why don't they ever call me? You just don't worry about that. That's other side of the story. You just go from you. Joy and happiness don't come from things. We bring the joy and happiness to the people or to the job or to the event. It's always from me. So you make beautiful relationships. Especially, your life is dependent on your relationship to your mother and father. It's the way the universe is fashioned. Your money comes through your father and your father's ancestor line. If life is easy or if life is difficult, that comes from mom. Okay? So and of course, most people don't even know that. In the old days, the fathers and mothers would bless their children. If you're a mom or a dad, it's very important to bless your children. So if you're a dad, you put your right hand on your child and you bless them to always have wealth, lots of money, and that it's easy for them to make it. If you're a mom, you use your right hand and you bless them that their life is easy, smooth, and that everything they want to do works. They don't have a constant struggle. That has to come from mom. So a lot of my work is, because almost everybody is damaged severely through mom and dad, and nobody taught our mom and dad any of these things. And then the damage is unbelievable, and then it travels way back. We're affected 6 generations backward from in both genetics and in karma and so many things. So what I do is I heal those relationships between yourself and your mom. If your mom and dad have already passed on, it's much easier than if they're alive. But once those relationships are healed properly, then wealth will flow. If there's trouble with your relationship to your father, it's very hard for you to be able to have wealth. If you always have little struggles, little mishaps, stuff's always, something's always happening. That's mom. Got to heal up mom. So I teach my clients there are ceremonies that we do, and I go into the field and I take care of it, and then things improve drastically. Does that answer that question?
It does, and that's actually pretty amazing. Right, our final standard question is around weight, and you were talking about amazing relationships in life, and I think the most amazing relationship we need is with ourselves. Many people are battling their weight, and what's your take on that, I guess, in regards to a relationship with self?
Okay, well, nowadays, you have to understand the way the world is working now is not like like a long time ago, folks. So I used to have a nutrition company in 2012, and I used to attend these huge seminars that they had a lot of MDs there and all nutritionists and all kinds of different healers and everybody. And we were involved in trying to organize very high-end nutrition. And I learned so many other things that I didn't know. And it's not so funny. Fundamentally, especially if you're living in America or any kind of modern place, they have manipulated and mutated the food molecules. Like, when you eat a banana, I don't think you'll ever meet anyone that says, I just had a banana, I think I'll have 3 more. They eat a banana and then basically that's it. Why? Because with bananas, at least, they haven't manipulated them yet. When you eat the banana, you get a certain amount of nutrients that come from the banana. Once you eat that many, you get that amount, it sends a signal to your brain that says, I have enough potassium. And then the brain says, okay. And then you don't want enough to eat another banana. What they've done with all processed foods, and then they're even trying to do it with living, like when the cow's still alive, they manipulate the molecule. So it's like, I call it like Frankenstein food. When you eat it, instead of a signal going to your brain saying you've had enough, it tells you want more. Like when we were kids, the hostess and myself, when we were little kids, and you went to get a glass of Coca-Cola at McDonald's, you got a little glass of Coca-Cola. Nowadays, they have it's a giant gulp or whatever that is. It's like looks like a quart of milk. That's because they manipulate the way the brain reads it. So they automatically will drink all that. All the French fry, everything is manipulated that way, folks. So what it does is it makes you very hungry for more. It's non-biodegradable garbage. So your body eats it. It's Frankenstein food. So your body says, I don't know what this is. And we keep eating it. So after 20 years, 15 years, you have some kind of major cancer because the body just doesn't know what to do with it. So since it's from Frankenstein, everything starts to go crazy, So one of the main things for you to do is really get a handle on food. And, like for instance, I was just talking to one of my clients doing an independent study in Dubai 2 days ago. And he was going really in depth in a ketogenic diet and how that all works. It's just astounding. And, they don't get cancer. It'll stop cancer cold. So look for organic, which means it's not covered in pesticides. That's all it means. Doesn't mean it's not genetically modified. Try to find out anything that is not genetically modified. Once it's genetically modified, think of Frankenstein, okay? What you want to find is real food, and it's becoming harder and harder, but there's nothing else to do. And then the other thing you want to get is very fine, high-grade nutritional supplements. Why? because the ground is depleted, folks. So let's say you eat let's say a tomato, nice tomato, you grow it yourself. The nutritional density of that tomato now is something like 5% or 10% of what it was 60 to 100 years ago, because there's no nutrition or food to grow the plant or the vegetable in the ground. The ground is depleted out. So there's a lot of things there, and you gotta try to think of what you're eating. Just never eat processed foods at all. Don't do that. So that you're hopefully getting natural food. Then the mutated molecules won't trick your brain. Stay away from the sugars. They put all those things, then they put in all those hormones. And so there's a lot stacked against you. You have to be real wise, really, really sharp and educated, because it's a different world now. The modern world is in many ways, it's not our friend. You gotta be very skilled in what you're doing and how. Like tuna, people still eat tuna. Tuna is delicious. Tuna is absolutely impregnated with mercury. All tuna, everywhere in the world, period, end of story. Mercury kills you. Mercury is mercury built up in your system. If you're obese, remember when you're obese, they say right now in America, there's 90,000 toxins found in the blood of even babies. 90,000 now. So if you're obese, that works against you, because the fat cells, they're like a storage room for the toxins. So it's always good, like in myself, even though I'm in Thailand, I always take liver detox, and I take kidney detox, and the water. So you got to always try to get mineral water. It's really quite a skill nowadays. But when you look at the way they manipulate the molecules, it's really playing hardball. So the only way to get around it is you can't consume it, because it'll trick your body. It'll just trick your body. The diabetes. You've seen how much the diabetes is the way the foods are made. And another one that's a big hitter is the gluten. Around 1956, they mutated the gluten. All of the gluten in the Western Hemisphere. If you eat, there are some little places in South America, and you can go, and the gluten is not mutated, and then it's amazing. You can eat it, and nothing will happen. But gluten is 10 miles of bad road, folks. So the only way to get around that stuff is exclude it. Just exclude it.
We've covered a lot here, and I just want to go into what should people expect from sessions with you?
Okay, so that's a fair question. So my sessions are 2 hours long, folks, and generally we talk for the first hour, and I find out everything and anything I can, because the more information I have, including names, places, everything, I entangle it. So it's like a big knot in a fishing line. It's all entangled. And then I go into my what I call my surgery. And during the surgery, you'll hear me clap 3 times, like that. Anytime you hear a clap, I have an empowerment through Tibet, and I'm saying certain words in Tibetan. And what I'm doing is I'm sending a destructive interference wave into your field. So let's say someone gave you the belief, and it got imprinted, that everyone in our family is always obese, and you're going to be obese too. And that little belief is sitting there in your field, in your subconscious. So I locate it, and then I'm going to find what's called a destructive interference frequency that is the exact opposite to that belief. The belief has a frequency. I said it's called a destructive interference wave. When they meet each other, when I send it, they cancel each other to zero. And I'll keep doing that with that belief until it's gone. And when I say it's gone, it's completely and utterly gone. Then every time I finish a removing something, your field and your mind and brain and your higher self tells me another frequency called a constructive interference wave that it needs to build itself up, to rewire your brain in a positive fashion relative to what we're working on, which raises your consciousness. Now, I may sound like a real fancy guy, but basically what I want you to know is I do not have some kind of power. When I say empowerment means I've been specially conditioned as a channel for these frequencies. I have the science, I have the skill level, and then the empowerment allows me to connect. But all I am is a relay station. Your body, your nervous system, your subconscious mind selects everything. And all I do is make sure you receive it. Once we finish everything, and everything is, I won't stop until it's 100% for that session. Then I give you Diksha. What is a Diksha? Diksha is the divine that is connected with you is going to funnel through me directly into your brain. Now, it's been studied by functional brain scans at the University of Pennsylvania. And what the energy transfer does is it lights up your frontal cortex like a Roman torch. Huge, especially the left prefrontal cortex. And with neuroplasticity, it really starts to disassemble areas along the sides of your head, the parietal lobes, that are responsible for fear, worry, regret, shame, all of those kind of negative beliefs, frequencies, imprints, they start to disassemble. And every time you get one Diksha, it takes about 3 minutes. That will continue working with neuroplasticity for up to 6 months. So what I do at the end, when I give you that, the divine is endorsing your healing. I've removed all the interference so that you will receive the grace, and then your growth is exponential. Now, when I work on you, your brain and your field and life is changing in real time. Okay, so we know from quantum biology now, if you take a nutritional supplement, or let's say you take a medicine, that's a frequency. How much of the frequency do you receive? So if you take an aspirin, how much of it do you receive? You only receive 1% of the signal. The other 99% is lost in the heat of the physiologic transaction to metabolize it. So you only get 1% of the signal. With someone like me, they know, they've studied it, measured it, you get 100% of the signal in real time. And what do I mean when I say you get the signal? On each of your 50 trillion cells, on the surface of the cell is the brain. The nucleus is a library. On the surface of the brain, just like we have our eyes and our ears and our nose, on the surface of the cell is millions and millions of little antennae. And each antenna can pick up different types of frequencies. When I send you the good information that you need, the constructive interference wave, those little antennae, the appropriate ones, will pick up the signal, 100% of it, the signal goes into the cell and stimulates the proper gene expression, makes the new proteins, all the regular biology continues. It's just that I'm operating at the level that controls the biology. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfectly. Now we're going to need to wrap this up, or we could just talk forever, Dr. G. So, people can find you at www.depthhealing.org. Now, I've just had a bit of a cruise around on your website, and I know there's a lot of free resources there and articles. So definitely, listeners, jump on there for your freebies. That is depthhealing.org. Dr. G, thank you so much for your time today.
You're so welcome. It's a real honor for me. And if you ever need me, I'm as close as the phone.
Fantastic. Listeners, thank you for your time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast. And, let's just all create our magical lives. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health, that's holistic with a W, or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.